The RPGs coming out of the next year look absolutely amazing. The goal for this video is to tell you about games you haven't heard of yet and to tell you hot new info about the games that you have heard of. Let's dive in. The Night Wanderer, releasing in 2025, exact date to be announced. This looks like a sci-fi version of God of War meets Dark Souls, and I'm so ready to check this one out. You'll play as DRAGONKIN, an elite soldier revered by some as a god among men, who is cast from the stars to an unknown destiny. At least that's how the locals perceive him as he descends from his spaceship to this unknown world. In this gripping action-adventure RPG, you're entrusted with a mission to unravel the enigma surrounding a lost expedition of brilliant scientists en route to the mysterious alien planet of Midgard. As you venture deeper, the insidious force of corruption weaves its web around you, this malevolent influence tied to the nature of men who easily succumb to their darkest impulses constantly tempts you with the allure of unimaginable power. Vuko's wit and sarcasm may be your best defense against this internal threat, forcing you to make difficult choices that ripple through the story's fabric. Succumb to the corruption's whispers and your path may lead to darkness. Resist, and the light of hope may prevail. Next up, we've got a big one, Grand Theft Auto 6. You've definitely heard of this one, and if you haven't, well, you're in for a treat. And definitely do yourself a favor and go play GTA 5 right now. As for the release date of this one, fall of 2025 was just reconfirmed in their most recent earnings call. Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be launching on PlayStation and Xbox, with a PC launch to come a bit later. Sorry, PC players. Grand Theft Auto 6 is an action-adventure game set in a fictional open-world state of Leonida, which is based on the real state of Florida, and includes the fictional city of Vice City, which is based on Miami. The story follows a criminal duo, Lucia and her male partner, Jason. The developers have described their relationship as a Bonnie and Clyde one. It sounds like this game takes place in the same universe as GTA 5, with events that transpired in GTA 5 being mentioned in GTA 6. In GTA 6, you can expect much better graphics and a much wider array of NPC diversity. Also expect a much wider array of wildlife as they call upon their experience with Red Dead Redemption 2. It looks like GTA 6 will have a much more realistic inventory, as the weapon wheel doesn't appear to let you hold nearly as many weapons at once anymore. Though the game does seem to feature a duffel bag that is going to let you solve that problem. The GTA 6 trailer broke all kinds of records when it was released on YouTube, and I expect the game to do the same when it releases. Next up, we have GREEDFALL 2, The Dying World, releasing September 24th, 2024. In GREEDFALL 2, you'll dive back into the unique world of Greedfall once again for an even deeper RPG experience. Uprooted from the island of your birth, find your freedom, explore the old continent, and forge your destiny through alliances, scheming, and battles. It sounds like this is going to be a prequel to the first game, taking place 3 years before the events that transpired in Greedfall 1. You'll create your own character and find allies to join your team. Help them with their quests, uncover their secrets, and make them your friends, rivals, or even your lovers. As well as equipping them any way you want, you can take control of them in combat. As mentioned, this time the game aims to feature a much deeper RPG experience where every choice that you make has an impact on your adventure, and where your diplomacy, manipulation, infiltration, and combat are all viable paths for you to achieve your aims. And GREEDFALL 2 is going to be increasing your party size from 3 to 4. Next up, we've got DRAGONKIN, The Banished. Wait a second, did you just say you wanted a free Nintendo Switch? Great, I'll tell you how to get one. But first, are you craving something new? Then you've got to try the world-class RPG, Dragon Raha, the sponsor of today's video. It's the perfect time to dive in. Dragon Raha just added the 16th class, the Dragon Rider. This spear-wielding Dragon Rider comes with 4 primary abilities like Dragon Thrust for massive damage and Spear Dance to launch your enemies skyward. Explore the new dimensional realms, but before heading in, be sure to choose 2 additional dimensional support skills to aid you in your journey. Players are in for a treat with incredibly generous rewards like the Milky Berry motor. Just log in daily and collect 10 shards to redeem the motor plan Milky Berry for free. So what are you waiting for? Download the game for free right now using the link in the description and start leveling up your epic new character. Create something unique and dive into some real-time PvP, or relax in your home for a more comfortable life in Dragon Raha. It has it all. Also, be sure to join Dragon Raha's official communities to receive exclusive in-game packs, cash rewards, and that chance to win a Nintendo Switch. Do you have the itch to make content? If you do, join the official content creator program and submit your work to receive a unique outfit, avatar, and diamonds. Don't forget to check out the link in the description below, and thanks for listening. Now, let's get back to the video. DRAGONKIN, The Banished. Release date February of 2025. Releasing on PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. This looks to be another addition to the quickly growing following list of new ARPGs that fall under the category of Diablo-likes. In a world dominated by dragons, play as one of the 4 heroes, solo or multiplayer, and fight hordes of enemies. Adapt your build with a unique ancestral grid system, and improve your city and share it with your friends. You wander a world corrupted by the blood of dragons that have caused evil creatures to appear. You play as one of the 4 hero classes and set out to hunt and fight draconic monsters. Every enemy is one step closer to your ultimate goal: find and eliminate the dragon lords. All of the heroes in this game have their own skills and combat techniques to fight the dragons. As you progress through the game, you can develop and improve your character, equipment, wormling, and ancestral grid. You can choose to play as a barbarian, an oracle, a knight, or a tracker. And in the heart of the mountains, sheltered from dragons and their voices, lies a huge city and a bastion of humanity. This city grows and changes based on your decisions and your discoveries. As you progress, you can decide which area of its development to focus on, upgrade your buildings, and find new inhabitants, equipment, and additional services on your own or with other players. Next up, we've got Assassin's Creed Shadows, releasing November 12th, 2024. In Assassin's Creed Shadows, you can discover the captivating open world of feudal Japan, from the spectacular castle towns and bustling ports to the peaceful shrines and the pastoral landscapes. Adventure through unpredictable weather, changing seasons, and reactive environments. You get to decide whether to play as a shinobi or a samurai, and master the complementary playstyles of the 2 fully realized protagonists. By doing so, you can approach the quest with whichever character you prefer, as each possesses their own respective progression, stats, skills, and gear. One of the 2 characters that you can play as is Naui, a quick-witted and agile character who uses noise, light, and shadows to evade detection as enemies respond to their changing surroundings. You can distract guards using kunai, shuriken, and smoke bombs. You can infiltrate bases using a grappling hook and parkour skills, and assassinate your targets with a hidden blade. Alternatively, if you prefer to enter through the front door and go in guns blazing, you can instead play as the charismatic samurai Yasuke. With Yasuke, you'll be able to strike your foes with brutal precision and power, and you'll literally have the ability to decapitate your enemies with a giant mace. Other weapons you can use include katana, kanabo, bows, naginata, and more, to free Japan from its oppressors. Travel the world, explore and scout your surroundings to gather vital intel, build your network of spies to be your eyes and ears across locations to unveil new areas and hunt down your next target. Along the way, recruit several allies with highly specialized skills and abilities to help accomplish your missions. Next up, we've got Path of Exile 2, coming out in Q4 of 2024. This is coming to PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and Mac. This sequel to Path of Exile 1 aims to be both harder and more approachable. A lot of work is being put into this game, and based on my time with the game and what they've announced, this will be the most complete ARPG launch we've ever seen. This action RPG is going to have over 100 distinct environments, 600 different monsters, 100 different bosses, 1,500 passive skills, 36 ascendancy classes, 240 active skills, 700 equipment types, and it's going to allow for up to 6-person co-op. Path of Exile 2 seems to be going the Larian route, with the amount of depth and scope being included in the game right at launch. Next up, we've got Titan Quest 2, another action RPG releasing in 2025. In this action RPG, you'll be able to take up your weapon, fight alongside gods, and change fate itself. This game features incredibly flexible character systems. Much like Path of Exile, this game aims to allow for incredible hero customization. You'll be able to use different combinations of skill modifiers, attributes, and items to create your own hybrid class and find your favorite playstyle. Grow your powers from those of a young mortal to a hero to rival the gods themselves. In this ARPG, they hope that every piece of loot is meaningful, every item serves a function, and every character class has many options when it comes to finding the perfect equipment. Even the most common spear can be upgraded via affix crafting, and with the right ingredients, you may even forge it into a unique item, spoken of only in legend. Once again, this game features online multiplayer, so you can join up with friends to take on the goddess of retribution. Next up, we've got Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. This one's coming out in Q4 of 2024 to Xbox and PC. This is developed by Machine Games and published by Bethesda. In Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, you'll uncover one of history's greatest mysteries in a first-person, single-player adventure. The year is 1937. Sinister forces are scouring the globe for the secret to the ancient power connected to the Great Circle, and only one person can stop them: Indiana Jones. You live the adventure as Indiana Jones in a thrilling story full of exploration, immersive action, and intriguing puzzles. You'll do all of this as the brilliant architect famed for his keen intellect, cunning resourcefulness, and trademark humor. Travel the world and race against enemy forces to discover the secrets of the greatest mysteries of all time. And of course, Indiana's trademark whip remains remains at the heart of his gear and can be used to distract, disarm, and attack your enemies. But it's not just a weapon, it can also be used to swing over gaps and scale walls. This looks like it's going to be a great story-driven RPG, very similar to Uncharted. Next up, we've got Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2. This one's coming out on September 9th, 2024. In this game, you'll embody the superhuman skill and brutality of Space Marine, unleash deadly abilities and devastating weaponry to obliterate the relentless Tyranid swarms. Defend the Imperium in spectacular third-person action in solo or multiplayer modes. For those unfamiliar, Space Marines are some of the Emperor's most ultimate fighters, averaging 8 feet tall and capable of wielding weapons no one else could even carry. The Space Marines are the last line of defense. In this game, you'll hold at bay the horrors of the galaxy in epic battles on far-flung planets with your deadly abilities and devastating weaponry. You'll uncover dark secrets to drive back the everlasting night and prove your ultimate loyalty to humanity. Players will enjoy intense, gory, and fast-paced third-person action with hundreds of enemies on screen at once, and purge the relentless Tyranid swarms in a spectacular new campaign. Play solo or with up to 2 friends in the seamless 3-player co-op. Defend the Imperium as your own Space Marine in an endlessly brutal and replayable PvE campaign featuring 6 classes, unlocking new skills and cosmetics, or wage eternal war on your enemies in ferocious 6v6 PvP matches to bring glory to your faction. Next up, we've got Fable 4, releasing in 2025. We've been waiting for this one for a long time. On June 9th, 2024, Playground Games announced that the game will launch in 2025 for the Xbox and PC. This game's world is filled with stories of legendary heroes and treacherous villains, of fantastic creatures and wondrous places, where nature and magic live in perfect harmony. But not all stories have happy endings. Fable 4 is likely to follow in the footsteps of its predecessors, we hope, which would mean that it would be an action RPG with tons of quests and a huge world to explore. Most of all, we'd hope that it would include the iconic morality system that the previous titles were known for. For those that aren't familiar, quests would present you with a good or an evil way of solving them. As you played the game, if you made predominantly evil choices, your character would start to become and look more evil. Alternatively, if you predominantly made good choices, your character would start to become and look more heroic. Fable has always been a fairly unique franchise, and I look forward to seeing this one return. Next up, we've got ALKAHEST, releasing in 2025 on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. ALKAHEST is an action-adventure RPG set in a murky medieval world where satisfying melee combat and highly interactive environments take center stage. Explore realistic locations, learn alchemy, and make a name for your family. Instead of magic, ALKAHEST will feature alchemy, a complex and important game system. Follow a recipe or mix gathered ingredients at your own discretion. Use the substance as a throwable, a weapon oil, plant it into an NPC's pocket, or even drink it yourself. In each scenario, outcomes can be unpredictable. The developers believe in quality over quantity, and so they want to avoid a big, bloated map full of dull filler quests. They say they're instead going to strive to make a highly interactive and believable world with semi-open world locations packed with secrets and adventure, with branching gameplay options inspired by Dishonored, Dark Messiah of Might and Magic, Kingdom Come Deliverance, and other genre-defining games. Next up, we've got Doom: The Dark Ages, coming out in 2025 to PC, Xbox, and PlayStation, despite being owned by Microsoft. To Phil Spencer's credit, he asked ID Software Marty Stratton what platform he wanted to release on, and Marty said all of them. Doom: The Dark Ages is a single-player action FPS prequel to the critically acclaimed Doom of 2016 and Doom Eternal. In this game, you are the Doom Slayer, the legendary Demon King warrior fighting endlessly against hell. In this game, you'll experience the epic cinematic origin story of the Doom Slayer. This Doom game aims to take the franchise back to its roots. That means instead of the high-tech weapons you had in Doom Eternal, we'll be wielding things like a skull gun, a saw shield, or perhaps a mace. The devs say that if you were an F-22 fighter jet in Doom Eternal, this time around they want you to feel like an Abrams tank. You'll spend a lot more time on the ground, strafing between projectiles, as they aim to give enemies far fewer projectiles, but also to make each projectile a lot more important, just like the old days. Next up, we've got THORGAL, coming out in 2025 on PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. THORGAL is an action-adventure game with RPG elements set within the beloved universe of the iconic comics crafted by Grzegorz Rosinski and Jean Van Ham. In this game, you'll assume the mantle of Thorgal Agerson, the enigmatic Viking warrior whose mysterious origin set the stage for an epic odyssey fraught with peril and intrigue. With enemies both mortal and divine lurking at every turn, including formidable adversaries drawn from the rich tapestry of Norse mythology, the fate of Thorgal and his family hangs in the balance. Thorgal sets out to not only captivate the existing fans of the series, but also to beckon newcomers, drawing in fantasy enthusiasts and RPG aficionados with its rich storytelling and immersive gameplay. So prepare to embark on an unforgettable adventure where legends are forged, destinies are tested, and the legacy of Thorgal awaits to be written anew. Now, the next few games are quite a ways away, and we don't have a lot of official information about some of them, but we do have some leaks and we do have some rumors, so let's dive into these. First one is going to be Dragon Quest XII: The Flames of Fate. This one is coming out in 2025 and it's aiming for a worldwide release, and based on Square Enix's recent activities, it sounds like they're going to move towards releasing future titles on all platforms, but this is still unconfirmed. Dragon Quest XII is going to be the first addition to the franchise since Dragon Quest XI back in 2017. The game director said that Dragon Quest XII is going to be darker than the previous entries, and he said that it's going to be a Dragon Quest for adults. Interestingly, they said they would be changing the combat system, which sounds a bit like they might be moving away from the game's iconic turn-based combat system to a more common action system. He also said that he wants your choices that you make in the game to matter a lot more. And this one's going to be developed in Unreal Engine 5, so you can expect it to look gorgeous. Dragon Quest is one of the first franchises I dove into. I'm really looking forward to this next chapter. Next up, we have The Witcher 4, internally named Polaris. CD Projekt Red partnered with Epic Games to move away from the proprietary Red engine and onto Unreal Engine 5. What this means is that it should be a lot easier for them to make these games and release them on all of the popular platforms such as PC, Xbox, and PlayStation, avoiding the chaos that they had with the release of Cyberpunk 2077. This also means that they'll be able to incorporate multiplayer features into the game much easier if they want to go that route. If you recall, they originally planned on adding multiplayer to Cyberpunk 2077, but their engine made it nearly impossible for them to do so. CDPR publicly acknowledged that they were working on this game all the way back in 2022. They released an image with text that said "A new saga begins." So expect Witcher 4 to be the beginning of a new story about a new character, as opposed to a continuation of the previous three. In this picture here that they released, notice that the medallion is not the wolf medallion that Geralt wore. Instead, it was confirmed by one of the developers to be a lynx. In the world of The Witcher, there are a number of schools, such as the School of the Wolf, the Cat, the Viper, the Bear, the Griffin, and many more. So from all of this, we can gather that this is going to be a completely new experience in The Witcher 4. As of April 30th, 2024, they reported having 407 devs working on The Witcher, so this game is moving full speed ahead and hopefully coming out soon, although no official release date has been announced. Next up, we've got Elder Scrolls 6. In court, a Microsoft lawyer stated that the projected release date of The Elder Scrolls 6 was 2026. But don't expect to hear an official release date from Bethesda until right before the game's release, much like they did with Fallout 4, which was announced in June of 2015, with the game releasing just 5 or so months later in November of the same year. So when we do get a release date, the game will be right around the corner. Being that Bethesda is owned by Microsoft, it'll likely be at a Microsoft event such as the Xbox Game Showcase in June of each year. And if it's anything like Fallout, that would mean that just a matter of months later, Elder Scrolls 6 would be released. So be sure to tune into that Xbox Game Showcase if you're looking forward to Elder Scrolls 6. From what we've gathered, it looks like this game is going to take place in part or in whole in Hammerfell. And if we've learned anything from previous Bethesda entries, it's that when they create tech in their games, like the settlement system in Fallout, they then bring that tech into the future games, which is exactly what they did with the settlement system in Starfield. So if we look at what tech was built into the game in Starfield, they added the new spaceship system, which I think will absolutely be converted into a sea ship system of sorts to use in Elder Scrolls 6 as we explore the Iliac Bay. Or maybe this is all wishful thinking on my part, but it's a theory that my regulars have heard me hoping for years now, and there's a lot of evidence to support it. But an Elder Scrolls meets Assassin's Creed Black Flag in the Iliac Bay sounds pretty amazing to me. We'll have to wait and see what comes to be in reality, as this is all very much still speculation, though this speculation is backed by a bit of evidence. And lastly, the most speculative game on this list is going to be Half-Life 3. Release date to be announced. The game itself hasn't even been announced, but Valve has been building a game internally referred to as HLX for 4 years now since Half-Life Alyx was released. To corroborate this theory, a voice actor leaked that there had been casting for a project called White Sands. White Sands is a reference to the Half-Life universe. So we know the developers are definitely working on something Half-Life related, and voice actors are being cast asked for something with a White Sands reference attached to it, all being built at Valve. On top of this, there's been an intense data mining effort by Tyler McVicker, and there seems to be a lot of evidence that something that could be Half-Life 3 is underway. Plus, Valve has been hiring for an unannounced project for someone with experience with level design, layouts, lighting, combat encounters, and puzzles, which are all very much prominent features in a Half-Life game. At one point, Valve creating Half-Life 3 appeared to be nothing more than wishful thinking. However, now, with all of the evidence on the table, and after their very successful and well-made Half-Life Alyx, Valve's foray back into the Half-Life world seems more likely than not. What do you think? Did Valve finally learn to count to 3? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you like open world RPGs, you are in luck. There are some amazing open world RPGs right around the corner. So be sure to check out the video popping up in the top right corner of the screen right now if you want to find out what those are. Massive shout out to my YouTube channel members. If you want to become a channel member for behind the scenes footage, access to a private Discord channel, and my undying gratitude, click the join button below or click the link in the description. Thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next video.